opening statement by Ed, and then we'll go right into questions. So please raise your hand, and Mr. Chief of Staff Ed Reed will go right into it.
Didn't prepare anything. Good afternoon. How y'all doing? Man, what a journey. Glad to be back. You know, I'm excited for our university. Was excited for the opportunity that came from Manny and Blake, you know, and Jen. Got the phone call a few weeks ago that, you know, they were looking into filling a position to help the university get back where, you know, our standards are met here in Miami. You know, I know our standards are high, as we do as a coaching staff and as players. You know, it's just a matter of us working together as a team and doing the things that a team does. You know, like I said, I'm excited. You know, I'm not in the position that people think I'm in. You know, I've been talking to a lot of people since the word has hit the news. You know, I'm not hiring, I'm not firing. You know, I'm just coming here to help, you know, as I did back in '97. I'm a piece of this puzzle, as all the coaches are, players are, and let's see how we fit.
Great. Please raise your hand for the microphone.
And was watching the 6 and 7 year last year from afar, was that a part of the reason why you wanted to come back?
No. I mean, I'm always orange and green, man. You know, that's in my heart. It's in my blood. You know, once you become a part of this university, you know, you want to do anything and everything for it. You know, as I said, I received a lot of calls from a lot of players, ex-players, you know, who wants to be a part of this, you know, but they didn't understand that I'm not in that position to do the things that they want, you know. But no, it had nothing to do with last season, though. You know, I know we didn't like what we saw, you know, and nobody accepted that. You know, Manny definitely didn't accept that, and that's something we talk about, you know. But that's last year, you know. That's last year. We went 5-6 my first season here, you know, and then we come back and we have a great year, and years later we win a national championship. So it's a process, man. We have a process going on, you know, and that's part of me trying to help figure out what's needed to get us on that track of fulfilling that standard that we have here.
Ed, welcome home, first of all.
Thank you.
When you've done all that you've done, when you're in a couple halls of fame and got your rings and all that, you could be doing anything right now in life. This is not an honorary job. This is a real job. When you've got things to do, what made you say, I want to work again? What made you say, I'm willing to put in the time when you don't have to be doing this?
You know, I'm from a small town, Louisiana, you know, where kids don't have the structure to be successful in life. Yes, I've become a Hall of Famer on every level, college, high school, and pros. You know, so that has helped me to be a light and a role model for a lot of kids that follow in our footsteps. You know, I talked to Emmitt Smith, Mel Blount, Derrick Brooks about this, Reggie Wayne about this, you know, on how we need to set a great example for the youth. You know, and that's what we're here to do for our kids. You know, we have to set a great example for them. You know, if we're not together as coaches, as a staff, supporting each other, encouraging each other, you know, agree to disagree and keep it moving. Nobody is sensitive, so to say, got skin like an armadillo, as Coach Ryan used to say. You know, we'll be okay. You know, we'll be just fine, man. But I think the road that I travel has helped. I actually had a job right after I retired. You know, I coached in Buffalo for a year. I was coaching when I was in my last year with the Jets. You know, as a player. You know, so I worked as an analyst for the last 5 years. You know, I still have that job. You know, so there's some things you will see around, and me being here, being away, because that's just how the dynamics of the job is. For me, I mean, I have an 11-year-old. I've been coaching his team his flag football team and mentoring guys in the NFL, and should I just say on all levels, you know. So I've been working, man. We have to work, you know. As a youth, you know, you should work. You know, as a father, I understand that, and I know our coaches do, because we have coaches that have kids, understand that our kids need to see great examples. Our kids need to be putting in work, you know, as a youth, you know, because you're raising them to be young men and young women. That's what we have here. That's what we want here. Kids that, you know, are coming to become men and women in society, contributing women and men into society. You know, we're here to transform lives. My life was transformed when I got here by a great coaching staff with Butch Davis, Andrew Swayze, Curtis Johnson, Chuck Pagano, Arquillo. I can name everybody, you know, and I give a lot of examples about that. Everybody talked about the 2001 national championship team, but no one talked about the coaches, Larry Coker, you know, being one of those guys, Randy Shannon. You know, these were men raising young men, you know, so, and that's what we hear. I was excited to be a part of that because I'm about that. I coached in the Under Armour All-American game. I coached in the NFL PA Bowl as a defensive coordinator, so coaching's in me. Make no mistake, I played football, but I'm a coach, you know, so I know what it looked like. You know, I'm excited about having this gig.
Hey Ed, Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Welcome back.
What's going on?
I guess from our perspective, there really hasn't been a chief of staff here. They were supposed to have one last year. What do you think a typical work week for Ed Reed is going to be like, you know, week to week to week during the season and maybe even during spring football? And I guess how much, you know, do you plan to get involved in recruiting and trying to sell the vision?
I'm limited on what I can do. Like I said, I can't be on the field coaching. I am here to mentor and help these kids to better themselves with football and after football. That's what it's about. I'm here to assist Coach Manny in everything he needs. I'm his right hand. I'm Doc Holliday, you know. So I'll be Huckleberry. You know, it's whatever he needs, man. Whatever these coaches need. You know, I'm here for them. You know, like I said, I love this game. I love this university, as I know they do. And, you know, for first-timers who haven't been here, you know, to pick my brain if that's the key, or we bringing in guys to talk to the guys about just what we did, you know, in my years, because I can't speak for no other years, though I know, you know, the older guys, Leon Searcy, Ray Lewis, Micah Irvin, guys like that, you know, can't speak for those years, but I know when we were here, it was about team, and that's all it's about. It's not about individuals, because we won't win, you know. And that's what you probably seen. Like, we've been so separated. That's what Manny's been talking about. You know, when I came here and when we came here in '97, we had to weed out a bunch of bad apples. You know, when things are not going right, that's pretty much what's happening for the most part. You know, and now we got to cover those wounds and get back to work, and that's where we at right now. You know, we have a fresh start, as Coach just said up here. You know, we're here to impact these kids, these young men, should I say. You know, we're here to provide guidance to them, and we need them to understand that they have to be coachable. I've been on that side. A lot of these coaches been on that side. We have to make sure that they understand that they have to be coachable. There's more after this, you know, and that real world is something else, you know. So there's a lot we could provide for them just other than football. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, was provided to us. So it's bigger than football.
We're gonna do a couple more questions.
You got a chance to coach Avante Williams at the Under Armour All-American game. Can you kind of talk about your relationship with him and your first impressions of him as a player and what you saw from him like throughout that week?
Yeah, there's no relationship. I was his coach for a week. You know, we had a lot of fun. The kid dislocated his finger, thought it was broken. He was screaming. And Reggie went over there, showed him his fingers, and he was just like, "Oh, snap," you know. So he would, you know, it was fun, man, working with him. You know, I felt like the kid was athletic, definitely an athlete, definitely showed heart. but I also saw that he's young and need guidance and need help, with his technique and stuff like that, So, but definitely happy that he chose you to come here.
Obviously, you had your own career keeping you busy, and how much have you been around the program since you left? We saw you at the game last year, obviously, but how much have you been, and what's different as you walk around the halls?
Man, this place is huge. It's like amazing now. I didn't know where this place here was at, the auditorium, but it's grown so much, man, since I've left, since we came in '97. The weight room is a lot bigger. It's more plush. These kids got a game room. They have their own little area, that we didn't have. It was small, more intimate, and not as plush, not as fancy, So definitely gives you those chills when I walk through here, knowing that we were part of the rebuilding of this building, and excited for these kids to have more resources than we did to achieve their own individual greatness as well as team greatness.
Hi, Ed.
Hello.
Good.
Long time no see.
Yes, true. Do you plan to be here every day? I know you talked a little bit about that, but during football season, or will you have an office
I
here?
have an 11-year-old son. I don't mean to cut you off, but you
No,
can
it's
go
okay.
ahead and finish if you
No,
want.
no, I just wanted to know will you actually be here, and where again do you live? Are you in
I live
New
at
Orleans?
the airport because I did have a job, as I said, but I have an 11-year-old. Coach called me, and that was the first thing he said is like, I don't want you to stop doing the things that you do, but I would love for you to be around as much as possible. That hasn't been possible because of my son. He lives in Georgia. When he was born, I relocated to be close to my son. It's about being a father, and I know being in college, because of the coaches that I had, Curtis Johnson specifically was a father figure to me, and we're father figures to these kids. That's why I say it's bigger than football, so I won't be here 365, but when I'm not doing other things that I have to do, my priority is Miami.
And are you allowed to recruit in any way? Are you
Yeah,
allowed to-
over the phone. Over the phone, I can make calls. I'm not sure what else the NCAA is going to allow because I had a foundation. I've been working with kids for 20 years since I've been in the National Football League. That's why I say I know kids. I know young men. I also respect my elders and I'm coachable. I also know we all in a learning situation. Each one teach one. And if we adapt that, if we understand, as Coach Harbaugh would say, iron sharpens iron. If we understand that as a group of coaches, as a group, as a university, I know we do because I know our mission statement. And as players, if they understand that, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna get this thing right where we want it to be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's do the last one. Okay, this is the last question before I take off.
Last two. It was like Ty.
Ed Guru with Sports and Media Network. I just want to touch base on what you talked about, how you said, you're going to be mentoring after football. After they come out of this, what's next? So I want to know what kind of mentorship will you be giving these young men about that? Would it be business? Would it be, what they can do as far as like sports-wise?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, man. I'm still figuring out everything that we're doing. I know there's a lot of things that we did, and we had guys, names I'd rather not mention, but just for where we at, Shapiro, like type people who come around this university and give us a bad rep and do things that put kids in position where, you know, it's about choices and consequences, but not everybody comes from lucrative, great financial background homes, and you put them in a situation what you think they're going to do, you know, especially when everything the way it is in college football. It's a billion-dollar industry. These kids providing a lot and not making anything, you know. So, you know, I just think we need to be preparing them not only for football but for life. You know, we have a lot of support for this university, a lot of Golden Canes that will and has done the right thing. You know, we used to have guys caddying at golf courses. You know, I worked across the street at Blockbuster, you know, when it was there, you know, and I know you can't believe it, but I did. I could tell you what the new releases were, what they were. But those were the best times, you know, because like I said, these kids, these parents are sending their kids to us to raise them, to take over for them on what they've already built. You know, every kid is not going to make it to the NFL. I can promise you that. But like my senior class, once we bought into what we were trying to get our point across to all the players as leaders of this team, was that if we work together, all of us are going to have a chance at success. You remember our first year, 5-6. Second year, I believe it was like 8-3. We went to like the Gator Bowl, then the Mike Ryan PC Bowl, you know, and we got better as we went. But the better we got, the more opportunity for these kids as a group, as a whole, was presented. 3 years, like 40-something draft picks or something like that. I mean, you look at the people who I was surrounded by, and I don't mean to say but, you know, we surrounded each other with such greatness. You know, Reggie Wayne is my roommate. He's just a finalist in the Hall of Fame. Santana Moss, who's doing great things and doing a lot of community service in Maryland. Delvin Brown, who's a sergeant. You know, these are my suite mates alone I'm just talking about. You know, I can name the Marquise Fitzgerald, those guys who are in Texas, Dallas, who's doing good, the Darryl Joneses, who's a preacher, you know, who always been the preacher. You know, he always held us accountable, but that was all of us doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we have to get to. If we don't get there, you're going to see the same stuff that you've been seeing. You know, it's about those young men buying in as well. It's just coaches can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? We can only do so much. And I know these coaches are going to work hard. That's what they did. They was doing it last year, the years before that when I've been coming. I've been coming here. You know, when I come, coach will be like, you'll speak to the recruits, no problem. You know, it was, you know, so it's like you're just being hired to do a little bit more, you know. When there's nothing any Cane wouldn't do for this university. That's why I was getting so many calls, because everybody is interested in trying to get over here, you know. But everybody's not a coach, you know. Everybody don't know football like that. It's one thing to talk about it, you know, when you watching it. But until you in the locker room, in the meetings, you don't know, you know. So I think we're in the right direction. I think Coach Rick laid a great foundation down, and Manny was here with that, you know. So I know he has the right mindset to do things. It's just a matter of, look, we got to block out the outside and deal with what you have inside, you know. Some people on the outside know what they're talking about, no doubt about it, and we take that into consideration. But at the same time, you're not here like these coaches 24/7, man. That's a tough job. I coached. I know how it is. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't work together, because I was on that side where coaches wasn't working together. We wasn't meeting together. You know, we'll go out to a bar together, but that's not it. It's about doing and having the right structure upstairs. You know, it takes an organization. I was with a great organization in Baltimore. You know, I called Ozzie as soon as I got this job. You know, and he's like, I look forward to talking to you, so don't be surprised if you see me sitting next to Ozzie at practice in Baltimore, because I want to know. You got to pick people brains, mentor brains, who I've had mentors to get me to this stage. I don't make it here by mistake. You know, it was bigger than football. You see, so you have to surround yourself with the right people. That's what we're trying to get these kids to understand. There's a whole saying, you show me your friends, I tell you who you are. You know, so if they're doing certain things off the field, we got to address that. You know, I hate the transfer portal, but, you know, it's a good and bad thing. But I could tell them parents now, I could tell those kids now, if you don't want to be here, don't come here. If you don't want to work hard, don't come here. If you don't want to compete, don't come here. Not while I'm around. Not while these coaches are around. Because I know what I saw yesterday. You know, just standing out there watching. I know what we want, you know, and I'm going to get to learn more, because in life you're going to learn to the day you're going. You're always learning. You know, you'll be a fool to say, I know it all. You know, that's what makes this so good, the diversity of the University of Miami. You got people from different walks of life, different areas. They experience so many different things. When you put that together, you can have a great thing if we come together.
Thanks for your time. Asked Manny a similar question, but curious your thoughts. How important is it for this program to kind of build a wall around the state of Florida, keep some of these in-state recruits at home, and more specifically, the guys in your own backyard in South Florida?
I mean, that's huge, because, you know, it's powerful when you can play at home and you do things in your community and people know you. You know, your city tends to look out for you. And that's a cry out that I have for the city of Miami. Like, when you see these kids out, send them home. You know, when I was out, me and Reggie at a bar, we see our young kids out, we sending them home. You know, but that's key to not to get as many of Miami guys, as many as Florida athletes as we can. But there's also kids all across the country too. You know, I mean, and I always said, you want kids to be successful. You want kids to go to college. Of course, we want the best, but we want the ones that's going to compete, come and have fun, and do the right things, you know, who want to make something of themselves, who's not going to turn away from competition or a coach yelling at you or a coach talking soft at you, you know. That's what you want. We didn't run from competition, our class, and a lot of other guys behind us. We was about that life. You come here, be about that life. Don't want to leave. Bleed the orange and green and go through those ups and downs that life gives you. You know, no quitting. No quitting when you come here, because that's what it was about. Can't bend over, can't cross your legs, can't put your arms on your head. Stand up, be accountable. Because when it's all over, because it goes by like that, college, NFL, real world will hit you like a ton of bricks, you know? And a lot of you know it, because you're grown now. You have to have your job. You have to pay your bills, you know? It's about, and that's what we're here to teach. We're here to teach these young men how to be men after this. There's life after this, you know? So put away those mischievous things that you would think is going to help you now, the taking the money and you put us in trouble, you get us in trouble. You know, the going out when you got plenty time for that. Miami hasn't changed since I left. You know, they actually got probably more clubs and stuff going on, more distractions, you know, with the phones and everything. You know, so these kids need to listen even more so, but that's on us too as father figures, you know, and mothers out here to teach our kids to be, you know, better kids in society. You know, our mission here in Miami is to transform lives. You know, let's get to that.